Hey, I got a question for you. Are you an expert at what you do, but you get overlooked, you get passed by, people do not give you the respect you deserve? That's very common, very, very common in today's society. So it doesn't really matter that you have the skills and the talent and that you're driven, that you want to do more. The people around you have to recognize that expertise and put it to work. And for many of us, doesn't seem to happen. So if that's you, if you can identify with that, stay tuned for the next few minutes. I am going to show you a way you can showcase your expertise. It's systematic and actually it's very simple. And if you follow the steps, you will lead, you'll be led to a place called authority. Okay, so I'm not an artist, so bear with me. So just imagine that this pyramid represents how you showcase. And up here, in this spot right up here, where only a small percentage of people arrive, let's call this place authority. You might like the term thought leadership. This is the place we all want to be for our expertise. We want to be listened to, we want to be seen, we want to be noticed, we want to be respected, and then most of all, we want to be fairly compensated for our expertise. So everybody's running around trying to be an authority. You know, they've been taught by their coaches how they can, come up with a phrase and come up with a tagline that makes them an authority. I mean, I even did it myself. Before I really just settled into who I am. Let me show you what the real process for this, let's see what it really looks like. So we start down at the bottom. Most people do. Some people can, shoot up to fame really fast, but most people start at the bottom. And we start with something very simple, and I call it B. And by this, I am talking about who are you? Who are you at the core? What are your gifts? What are your talents? What are your passions? Who are you? You've got to be authentic, right? To be a real authority because people will see right through you. If you're trying to copy and mimic someone else, then you are leeching off their authority. You're not establishing your own. So you've got to come up with the answer to who you are, right? And then the other piece to that is mindset. Mindset impacts everything, right? And we know that. Mindset impacts everything. So once you know who you are at the core, at the very core, then the next step is do. And here we're talking about your subject matter expertise. Now, this is a good place to be. This means that you have a way of doing something that few people can do. You're an expert at it. But let me tell you, this is a dangerous place to be. If you have high aspirations, if you want to rise up the ranks in your company, in the university, it doesn't matter where you are. If you want to ascend to a place called authority, this can be a very dangerous place to be. Most people stop here. And I tell people all the time, there are some brilliant people who can do a lot, but because they don't know who they are, they never move from the spot they're in. They're stuck, they're pigeonholed because they don't know the truth, the core of who they are. You've got to start at that foundation and you've got to understand that very, very clearly. Now, once you know who you are and you are doing something that proves other people are saying you're the subject matter expert, not just something you conjured up in your mind, then the next thing you want to do is say. See, a thought leader will explain things with a different point of view. They don't follow what everyone else is saying. They look at things from different angles, different perspectives, and they come up with a way of talking about it that everyone else buys into. So to move up in authority, you're going to have to say something, which means you're going to do some public speaking. So you can do your public speaking, you know, in a lot of different ways, but you are going to have to speak. You know, you can do summits, you can do books, right? Even if you write a book, you need to say something. You can do a podcast. There are many things you can do to say something. The most important things you want to know about this area is that it's your unique point of view that people are interested in. Once you have something unique and fascinating to say, then you want to move to the next step, which is to teach something, right? And I always tell people, if you can't teach it, you don't know it. Because the way you teach is you take a concept and you tear it apart, you information dose it back to the students who are learning it in a logical fashion so that it makes sense. Teaching is critical. Now you can teach tactics or you can teach strategy. What's the difference in terms of authority? Well, a tactical teacher is a subject matter expert who's just figured out how to tell people how to replicate what they're doing. Whereas a strategic teacher can tell you why you're doing what you're doing and the outcome, the impact it's going to have across the whole ecosystem. But the one who's headed toward authority, they're going to do both. They're going to show you the tactics, they're going to give you the strategy, and they will do some forecasting so you can prepare for things that perhaps you have not thought about. So the final step before we get to authority is replicate. This is a critical step, replicate. What this implies is that you have a proven system, right? And that your system is going to result in certain outcomes, anticipated, predictable outcomes, right? That's when you replicate, when you know that. A franchise, perfect example. A franchise tells you exactly what to do first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and on it goes. It tells you exactly when you're looking for space, the kind of space you need, how it's going to be set up, the colors that are going to be catered, because they have a replicatable system for success. Now, when you can do that, you can enter into this domain that we call authority, right? Authority is important, guys, because authorities and thought leaders within every industry, they command more attention, they get promotions, they get the largest contracts, they have partnerships with leaders in the industry, they have raving fans because they are an authority. Now, here is something that few people understand. I used to work primarily with people, mature experts. The problem I found many times is that they were experts in many different areas. I mean, take me for example. I can do a lot of different things, but I cannot be an authority in many different things. It has to be systematic. So I can become a thought leader in one area. And once I sort of explore that area, do a 360 on it, I can move to an adjacent area and become an authority with that, kind of just expand the way I look at things and the products that I produce. But it's impossible to eat an elephant in one gulp. So I cannot become an authority in 5 industries at a time. And that's what a lot of people try to do because they don't want to make a decision over one area where they have expertise in the other. But you have to, if you really want to be considered an authority. Again, authority is critical because it ultimately leads you to more impact and more pay. Who do you think makes the most? Is it the generalist or is it the specialist? It's definitely the person who has authority. This is important. I was talking about approaching a niche area one at a time. It's critical because it needs to line up with who you are at the core. And I call this convergence. It's where your skill set and your passions meet in the marketplace. That's an area of convergence, and that's an area that you want to test to see if you can offer it for profit. So who you are needs to line up. Here's a plumb line, guys. All of this needs to line up. All of it needs to line up, right? So what area you're becoming an authority in, who you are, it lines up. What you do, what is your area of expertise, what you say, what's your unique point of view in the public, what you teach, tactics, strategies, and what you replicate. All of this lines up. So you're not over here one day and over there the next day. No, you are working in a niche area, in an industry area, and you are being, doing, saying, teaching, and able to replicate with a proven system for a specific outcome. And this whole entire process I call showcasing. Is how you showcase your authority. And here at the Virtual Speaking Academy, we help experts just like you to showcase people who know that they have an expertise and it's not something that they manufacture because other people can experience it and validate it. We help experts to showcase their expertise with a lot of different projects. You know, what we have here in our background is we're talking about the books, Summit to Books process, where we teach experts how to do both, host a summit and write a book at the same time, where they can get at least 50% of the book created by experts. And we teach that process. We teach experts how to present well in public because they are an authority. So how do they do that? How do they craft their speech? How do they impact their audience with confidence? So the audience will believe that they are an authority. And then how do you teach what you know? How do you package what you know in such a way that is consumable for your customers? These are the kinds of projects we do at the Virtual Speaking Academy. So I'm going to offer you an opportunity for a 30-minute consultation with me, free, no charge, where we can talk about your expertise and what do you need to showcase in order to get the respect and the increase that you deserve. So just send an email to info@TKC Incorporated. That's Tom, Katie, Cat, TKC Incorporated spelled out.com. and we'll set up some time for you to showcase your own authority. This is Angela Heath with TKC Incorporated, but I am also the Dean of the Virtual Speaking Academy, here to help you showcase your authority.